Hey, American here. America is a garbage country that is both literally and metaphorically on fire. And no one should want to know about us. For some reason, we have all of these nukes, so I guess you gotta keep an eye on it. Sorry. I'm gonna run you through only the American geography that actually matters, so you have any idea what Americans are talking about. First off, landmass. This is America on a world map. You'll notice that Alaska and Hawaii are inconveniently located way the fuck over here, which is why on an American map, you will see them in these little boxes. So we remember they exist, but don't have to put all of Canada and half the Pacific Ocean on. The other 48 states are called the contiguous United States, or the continental United States, which just means that they're all touching each other and not social distancing like these two introverts. Now, the U.S. also has 5 territories: American Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, but not even Americans, 1, could name them, 2, know what the fuck a territory is, or 3, know where they are, so forget I said anything. Physical features. Alright, so we have 2 big fuck-off mountain ranges, one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. The easy way that I remember it is that the Appalachian Mountains are near the Atlantic Ocean, and the Rocky Mountains are near the rich pricks in California. We also have water. Since you're not American, I'm assuming you actually have some knowledge of geography, so you will know that we have the Atlantic Ocean over here between North and South America, and Europe and Africa, and on the other side we've got the Pacific Ocean, cruelly separating white weeaboos from their waifus in Japan. There's also the Gulf of Mexico, which is where we like to spill all of our oil, and the Great Lakes up here, which are best known for songs about ships sinking, and this one island right over here that makes the best fudge in the entire world. You don't need to know what the individual lakes are called. I don't either, and I live between 2 of them. Alright, now let's talk about the fun stuff. Culture. What you've got to realize is that when our ancestors landed on this continent to rape and pillage, we landed on the East Coast, and we stayed there for a long time, so all our oldest shit is over here. This arm is called New England because it's bougie and white as fuck, and then we have the South over here. Remember that for a really long time we were just huddled up on this side, so this is just the South and not the Southeast or whatever. This is where all the farms were, and these were all the slave states, where kidnapped African people were forced to work themselves to death so that white folks could sit on their porches and sip iced tea. This is still where most of the black people in America live, and the Northeast likes to think that the South is more racist, but actually, there's plenty of racism to go around everywhere. After we were finished being terrible on the East Coast, we were like, damn, I bet we could go be terrible on the West Coast, too. And millions of people headed out west to do more genocide to the natives and look for gold that mostly didn't exist. Some of them got tired and stopped very quickly in this area, which was then settled and called the Midwest, and that's where I live. It's still very white, but it's less bougie and more working class. It's kind of a middle ground between the urban Northeast and the actual West that's so rural you can go 50 miles without seeing another human being. This whole area is the West, and it's mostly empty because people wanted to go see the other ocean, and most of them didn't care about a bunch of empty plains, except stopping to kill buffalo and a lot of Native American people. This is also where most of the food in America comes from, and I guess that's kind of important. And this part that they were all trying to get to is the Pacific Northwest, because we're very boring when we name things. It's just as bougie and populated as the East Coast, but with a lot more Latina people because it is closer to Mexico. Let's talk about states. You will be happy to know that there are only like 4 states that you actually need to know how to locate, and you've already heard of all of them. We have California, where you can find Silicon Valley, wine country, Hollywood, the top 1% richest people in the country, and also a lot of dry kindling. For bonus fun, it's on a fault line, so sometimes the earth just has a seizure and everybody deals. Then we have Texas. Texas is huge, and we stole it from Mexico, so it's got a lot of Latina people and a lot of racist white people. This is where capitalist libertarians were invented. Texas's biggest exports are an aggressive sunburnt gun culture and oil. The most important thing to understand is that Texas is fucking huge, bigger than you think it is. For my European viewers, going from here to here is the same distance as going from Hamburg to Rome. You could fit all of Germany in Texas and still have room left for Ireland and Belgium. Next up, we have Florida. You know Florida because it's crazy and we can't stop making jokes about it. It's the nation's combination retirement home, rich vacation spot, and crystal meth repository. It also decides most of our national elections because our democracy is a cruel joke. Finally, we have Washington, D.C., right about here. Now, it's not really a state, but it's also basically a state. It's a city, it's the capital of the country, and it gets its own special rules where it's not in any of the states near it. It's right between the Northeast and the South, which was a compromise to get the slave states and the slightly less slave states to form a union, but maybe kind of backfired when we had a whole civil war over it, and suddenly the capital was, like, right next to the enemy. And then, in conclusion, we have the only other city you should probably be able to point to on a map. It is New York City. It is right around here, and alongside California is the other half of American culture that you have absorbed. It has roughly the population of Switzerland. That is not a joke. There are over 8 million people in this one city. That is all you really need to know about America, but if you want to know more, I'll make a second video and tell you about the other big cities and the really weird shit. Thanks for watching.